personally wasn't expecting to see between these two. OXG into it, as you had hinted at before, the border got close, and that's why I'm really excited to see what happens today, because a couple of matches.
Wonderful start.
And most importantly, they all get away before anybody gets punished by all that utility. The Candela that was thrown before Spirits passed, nothing done off the back of it. Nafe at least able to get a kill on a Grixer though. And that's solid to find for now. A wide swing from Forest straight into Citizen's line of sight is also going to be punished. And it feels like OXG, maybe unforced errors, to allow DarkZero some space and a chance back into this round.
Do have the Deimos ready and Oxygen. They got that first opener, but slowly but surely, slowly been taken away from them. It's gonna have to be Gomez to pick it back up. It's a 2v1 and only himself, but he cannot rely on time to get the job done as well.
NJR nearly gets dusted off that angle, but he will keep his life for now. And these last two attackers are very far away from each other, and they've made no secret of this either. The projector's going to be annoying, he'll impact it, but his vision impacted by the flashbang from behind. And in the meantime, DarkZero are going to try to team up and play this together. NJR holding the angle in the whole
approach upon him. They do have the Dekebi, they do have the player on the rappel waiting. But Gomez is such a powerful position. He gets Rival and then immediately backs up, designed to waste more time, designed to feed people right into Grixer down below.
And he's just barely able to get away, and he even finds a pick onto another player at top metal. Recognizing the threat coming from Break, he's about to go anywhere but where he's at right now, and they won't find him as a result. Only a minute to go, and DZ look aimless right now. Their one aim of finding Gomez is going to take quite some time. Finally, they managed to make it happen, but only a minute to go for this DZ attack, but they've got the man advantage back. Yaga's been found through the floor.
There's going to be a player that's got taken out from outside the building, and there's absolutely zero opportunity for a trade. Down goes Grixer as well. DarkZero just needs to hold on to that man advantage that they had. Forest and Yaga are so split, but so are DarkZero, and Yaga's going to be able to find a kill of his own. Oh,
another one for Yaga.
Again.
Forest found a kill as well. It's a 2-on-2. To know this, looks like he might have heard the earlier dope call. But as NJR drops, Forest right behind him, and he's not going to really check for it, or at the very least, if he did, it wasn't effective. Now Forest now isolated away from his last remaining teammate of Yogg, and the fight against
completely turned around. Like it is absurd. I mean, in my opinion, been a little hit or miss. He's had games where he's really shown up, but then he's also had performances where he's been 0-4 in the entry did to boot as well. Down goes the air jabs, down goes the ace, a great C4 to chunk down Spirits, just walking into Adam. Give him 3. Desk, just wait it out. Here's where that Blackbird could be really helpful, but Grixer being pushed down the east stairs right into the arms of Citizen. A wonderful job by DarkZero. Now they're going to be able to take a pivotal amount of map control, and here's where we're seeing some really coordinated success, but they have to make sure they move as a unit and they don't get caught out as stragglers by players like Adam, who's a wonderful shot.
I was gonna say, DZ so good this round. Stairs, looking down towards waiting room. Spirits, as he tries to sneak into the site, isn't really able to find anything. But this angle from Adam can't find anything either. He's getting stared down. He's getting gunned down. Citizen with that kill. Nafe with another. And the plant going down for Spirits means that these last two players from 45 are going to have to do everything in their power. What little power they may still have, but look at the sneak up from Gomez. Never mind. You can't look anymore because it got caught by Citizen.
You take too much time because we've seen the repercussions of that.
And Nafe nearly facing the repercussions of his C4, but he was about 2 seconds too late. Unfortunately, just in time to catch a headshot from the MP5 of Adam. That's the trade back that OXG were looking for, but it looks like DZ are looking for the objective. When you spread out that far, you leave the site as a weak point, and Rival and NJR are absolutely gonna exploit it. The rookie on the board for the very first time this game, and his team, as a result, stands at a 3 versus 2 advantage and stands inside the objective. Adam no longer standing means that Grixer is going to be alone in a 1 versus 3, but he's shot all the drones on his way here, and he couldn't quite do the same to Rival,
who doesn't have the impact that they really want. You know, some people in this event, I think he has done an okay job. I think he's done what he's needed to. figure out the site. Overall, a lot of util going out early. Those ROUs. Grixer is taken out with a C4. Gomez down as well. DarkZero, they're keeping to what Oxygen did. They are pushing the envelope as much as they can. And Spirits, should be Gomez down. And it is. We'll get that confirmation. You gotta be careful. Just
hit the Mira, and he himself damaged to about 20% of his HP remaining. Nafe is going to get spotted out and killed by Forest, though, so that's a good pick back for Oxygen. And DarkZero still not forfeiting this map control. Perhaps that was the mistake. It's a razor's edge that you need to balance.
now it's looking like an Archives push. You wonder where Citizen is if he's ready for a C4 play.
Nobody going to be ready for this on the defensive side, or at least that was what OXG were hoping. Citizen ready, but Rival not. 2 versus 2 as Yaga makes his way deep into the site. The case was abandoned. Yaga is going to fix that, but Adam has to help him out. Otherwise, he's probably not getting this case down. Adam being gone means that he is...
Maybe a Capital, couple Selma breaches. It's very slow, something different than what we're used to, but a big peak by Spirits. That's going to get punished. And finally...
DZ are definitely going to be annoyed about that death. I don't know if they're too moved by that kill from OXG. I feel like this is going to have to get desperate later. Gomez trying to do something to make it even better, but the odds will not sway sight just by dropping some hatches. There may actually be an opening towards the workshop side, because everybody seems to be towards vent, but Nafe is going to smoke Yaga on the hatch drop. Triple for Gomez, though. Grixer gets more. Citizens alone, and the time not going to halt Grixer that much. He's not going to waste time in getting the plant down. They do see him through the floor, but they barely miss out on the timing. Citizen shuts him down, though, and it's Adam alone with only the Reaper, the Lone Reaper himself, but it only needs that one bullet to close out on Citizen, who's got all the verticality in the world. Impact nades in the roof to try and throw him off. Never let him know your next move. Pre-fire through one wall, move to the next door. It's not going to matter because Adam's not fooled, but he still won't land the shot. It still may matter, but the time starting to matter quite a lot. 15 seconds, just about 7 to get on the diffuser, and Citizen knows he's got to push the objective, knows he has to do this, but Adam can just sit there. Even if he nerfs his KD, Citizen knows it's not worth it. Just take your kill. OXG already locked in towards the second floor. The Sens walls that you talked about going to enable Yaga to run someone down on Blitz, but through the hatch they go, and it's 2 kills in a row for DarkZero. Grixer's found a trade onto NJ.
Even as Rival is waiting with his team inside of the site. Gomez finds Spirit. Oxygen are able to get a man count advantage, and now you should see the phones go off in their pockets. Nathan, such a precarious position. He's not able to get anything, and it's all up to the main man. Rival in a 1v1.
Sens is still up on the attacking side. He could easily make this plan a lot more gettable. Rival took so long, the last one in the lobby, to get on the board, but this would be the way to prove you earned a spot in Tier 1. Grixer gets his plant down, but Rival's already right around the corner. And so the rookie waits, knowing he's the one who has to push the initiative, but he's gonna take his time. Spots out his drone, shoots at Grixer right around the corner, and the veteran...
Take that option away from him. Give yourself that peeker's advantage. Not ping, but when it comes to who's going to be able to actually fire first when it comes to
either side so far. As the nade gets ready to prep the castle barricade, Yaga gets a very good kill, and then Rival doesn't get the trade on his teammate. Eventually, a trade is found by Nave to finally end Yaga's reign.
Get help from Citizen and only taking a sliver of HP.
They do find Citizen at least, but NJR, who backed out, was rewarded for that at the very least for a moment. Eventually, though, he'll meet his end at the wrong end of Gomez. And Nafe is going to try and get to a very different position. OXG recovers the diffuser, and they've already made their way into Armory Locker, so they recognize that this site is free. The cross is going to be held as well. So
this could still be great at providing avenues in which Oxygen could take space. But a lot of it is just waiting, and Adam takes out Rival, and Oxygen are able to get a man count advantage, but for like 2 seconds at most.
Still technically a 3 versus 3, but practically Grixer is dead. No one even close to him, so he will probably not get revived. Although Adam seems to be ready to make the track to try and keep this at a 3 versus 3. That's a lot of time off the board, though. Gomez has got to do something in the meantime to make sure this isn't just 20 wasted seconds for Oxygen. But if he overextends, he'd give himself up and thus make it another 2 versus 3. Or Adam, as soon as he gets the res off, it's found that he gave himself for Grixer. Still a 2 versus 3, still case control for DarkZero and a shotgun in the corner right next to that diffuser. This is exactly where Citizen wants to be. They tried to air jab him out. He manages to escape it somehow, and then he ends up getting the kill on a Grixer. They've let him get away with highway robbery. Eventually, he'll meet his end for how confident he just played it, but Gomez, not really going to stand much of a chance. He tries. There's a lot going on the second floor. It doesn't seem worth all that time and util investment that you would need to do. Yaga caught in a very tough spot. He will be able to get into CCTV, but that's not getting out of danger. Because eventually the Shamikos will find the kill they were promised, and then Nafe gets another one. Adam does find a response. Good angle for Nafe, though. Could easily find him his third. Not quite gonna happen just yet, though, as Forrest tries to run down one inside of Archives. He loses nearly all his HP for it, and eventually all of it at the hands of Spirits. Grixer, concussed, stuck inside smoke, at least found a kill onto NJ. As they even think about walking into the building. And I said it earlier in a round that you get into the building for the first time in 1:10, that's pretty bad. They're still just now getting in the building with even less than that. They do get a kill at least onto Rival, but he knew he was going to die in that position. His goals were pretty much to just try and get one kill, but keep wasting time. So there's even less time later on for the rest of OXG. The rest of OXG now doesn't include Gomez, because he's fallen at the hands of NJR. Fires into CCTV towards Box to try and push him out, but NJR unmoved. Most of DZR, they recognize that OXG barely have the time to do anything from this point on. The smoke grenades are finally going to come through, with the smoke bolts, I should say, but they're still awarded on the defensive side. So Nave could easily find some frags, and that's exactly what he's going to do. 2-man advantage for DarkZero, 20 seconds to fix this, and now it's just Grixer. Can he fix it? No. You'd hate to see that become a pivotal mistake that ends up working against them later on here. Still don't have control over CC, so walking through the hallway is going to be tough, but Yaga is now really on an island. He's gotten shut down. Forrest died before him as well. So DarkZero swing the pendulum back in their favor. Is there one last bit of fight in you, OXG, on border? Or is it time to go to Fortress? They are fighting for everything, keeping them out from Fountain, but there's just not enough left in the tank. Everybody staring at one doorway, and the man count prospers for DarkZero 4 rounds in a row. Take a win. And they're treading into DarkZero territory, but they're not treading new ground. They asked map to pick into them for the second time this qualifier by a team there are for DZ to switch up the angle, and Forrest, who's convinced it's going to bathroom, is about to be met with a sorry surprise. Yaga does get a kill early, though. Adam doubles down, so that even though Rival found one and Spirits found another, the trades consistently favor OXG. It's 5 seconds left for NJR, and his position just stuck in a corner. He's flashed out, but he's got help from the side in Gomez, and DZ are really stuck in this position. The first pick even goes to Gomez as well. They do catch Yaga, though. Gomez fighting for his life inside the corner. Spirits stopped for a second, but eventually he'll surely find that kill. Still not quite. Gomez somehow still alive, and he's somehow able to get across the way. He eventually dies, though, but there's a flank for Forrest. It only finds the first. Treated
as a living drone. DarkZero are looking in, and they finally get the entry that they've been waiting for.
That is a really nice kill to find, because that means they could maybe go for an entry. That air jab's also going to make it so they can't play the top of the stairs. That means they can firmly control the old stairs, like what NJR is doing right now, and the Warden can't really do anything about it. With this control, you can start to push back the player on Soda, but there's a great swing. The Warden can do something about that control from a different angle than what was expected, and eventually he and Gomez can step up to everything themselves. This is what we're talking about when we say it's good control to get, but it's really hard to get to it. Just 2 defenders on OXG do pretty much everything themselves. Now,
at DarkZero 4 is, are they going to be able to get that entry, and are they actually going to be able to take space and get a little bit into a courtyard corridor? It is said by Yaga. Yeah, you got to shoot the defaults. I don't know if it might be new map syndrome, but Rival takes a ballsy gunfight, loses it out. Not really something you would probably do in hindsight, and now that gives Oxygen a very, very nice entry, and that they're going to take all the way to the bank, especially if Gomez is able to find that. He's not, and Spirits is able to find the trade.
He's about to face. He can hear the shield just nearby. He knows what's about to happen. The EE1D popped just a little bit too late. The impact over the top is really well placed, and Spirits also hit a Goomine, but Grixer killed Forrest. And that's going to be a mistake Yaga will try and make up for, and Grixer's going to do even better. The drop of the waiting hatch didn't work out. Nothing working out for DZ, except for OXG shooting their own.
A Goomine. So I have that information. That's going to be very pivotal. Great shot.
Effective, but it looks like DZ recognizing that and trying to switch up the angle at which they're attacking. Nave's going to walk up the white stairs, try and find a kill on the player in New Tower. He won't quite find it, but the Goomine is about to kill him. NJR will find a kill, though, and Rival starts to work it back. He's taking horse control, and with 45 to go, they've got a little bit of a pinch on this site. OXG needs to make a play, or they can just wait for NJR to die to the Goomine in his foot. That's not a very safe revive for Nave to go for, especially given how low on HP he is. He's going to try and sneak up on the Ella, though, and he'll find that kill back. But it's not an advantage. That 3-on-2 is deceiving. It's actually only 2 and only 1 player to cover that plant, but that plant doesn't even get to go down because before he sticks it, he dies. Rival alone in the 1 versus 2 looks away at the...
People like to call it. There's going to be a hop in, but Forrest immediately downed. Might be a trade happening, and there is Dequilon up. Oxygen are just immediately going to take their leave, but a drone right around the corner. Yaga could have a player on this window. He does. Great shot by him, and now it's Oxygen to take the man count advantage.
Very content to just let DZ waste their own time.
I think that's a tactic you probably should have for all of DZ. But DZ, they found a great angle onto Adam. That defensive utility, that Kiba Berry, it's going to provide a nice little stopgap. But for 20 seconds, are you going to be able to find a little pocket to put NJR in, or is it just going to be kills to get the job done?
Nice shot at a Citizen. He's going to try and fit right into that pocket, but the Lurk of Spirits is gone. And so everything left on this attack is coming at it from the same angle. They could try and go for this plant towards the chassis. It seems like that's what they want to do. But NJR takes a little bit long, and his only cover is a 1 HP Citizen. So as they emerge through the smoke, Citizen down. With on this defensive side, DZ are exactly where they want to be in round number 7. They still have so much control over what's going to happen for the remainder of this round. And even though the air jab was placed on the main stairs, Rival is still there, and he finds the opening kill on a Gomez. You know someone else is going to try and come at him from the bottom side, and he'll put you down as well. Forrest goes down, the diffuser's dropped as Yaga is 2. It's a 1-on-5 for Grixer, and it's a flawless... I mean, everybody's doing all right, but no one's really stepping up to lead the team, at least in terms of frags. But there goes, he's just trying to play his life, play some time with these smoke canisters. And JR just nearby is going to be really well positioned, though, to take the shield down.
Up with Gomez to take out some of these players over by Museum. Oh, we would have loved to see a shot from Adam, but Citizen, he's just got the angle all primed up.
A lot easier by operators like Ying and Glaz, giving yourselves very good ways to take incredibly advantageous, as there are a lot of red outlines right outside that room right next to the objective, already burning through that Aruni gate, and already shoving the window is Spirits, but that was not wise. He'll be the second death of the round for DarkZero. The first was Citizen, and both of them dying that early does not bode well for the rest of the round, and Gomez shooting like that certainly doesn't bode well for the rest of the round either. 5-on-2 favoring OXG. Nafe is already getting shot up inside his own objective, and Rival's only just come back to help him. The Blitz in the middle of the site is killed by Rival, but so is Nafe. And so the 1-on-4 for the rookie. Talk about a trial by fire, a trial he may be up to. It looks like his free trial may be expiring within round number 9. Certainly wasn't free, as it took the cost of most of his...
Trying to fight up against Grixer on the window is realistically not super...
With 2 C4s and the Shamika launchers. just as important to talk about in terms of that expiring clock, and also with their guns, as Citizen will take down Adam. A Selma is taken off of the wall by the C4 out of NJR, so he'll burn it early instead of using it to try and deal with a player planting, and Gomez is going to burn him pretty early, but the second C4 is used to get a kill. It's Nate from downstairs finding a really nice frag, but these opportunities are consistently being found by LXG to get themselves back into the round, but only for a moment. Each and every time, the response is always there out of DarkZero. And now a response of 3 players has to be here for Yaga. He's not to be used on the player towards Horse, but Citizen coming through right behind his teammate, doubling up, making sure that they are 2, maybe not just 2, maybe even 3 men down at every single one of these positions, and the Gas Babe is going to take down Yaga. That was what you had to try and take these positions away, and as Adam gets shut down on his lurk, it seems to be getting worse. Forrest gets a pity kill to try and get back in. Grixer's trying to make it a little bit more than that. Nearly shots landed, but they've only got 3 seconds to start to plant, and the case just...
All the Dekebi phone calls going out, the Kiva barriers there.
Oh,
Capital
wow.
Bolt just not hitting. Great util by Oxygen. Absolutely nothing.
By Forrest. This wrap through 90 is not going to be permitted, and eventually he'll try to turn it into a lurk of his own, but they overextend trying to take down Rival and Nafe, and thus Rival's going to take down Yaga. You said it, he's such a pivotal attacking point of this offense, but Gomez eventually going to trade him out. He, though, traded immediately after by Nafe, but the push still has to come through. You can't mourn too long. Adam has got to get active with the case in his hand. He'll take care of the biggest problem on this defense so far, but he looks lost. Where on earth can he plant? He's tried to finally clear out more, but he can't clear out Nafe just yet. He's got to start to stick it now. He's already almost done. But that case being down, that verticality on it, that ping on the other attacker, though, is very crucial. The super shorty, exactly where it wants to be for that one. But how do you win this fight? They're staring at you from up above, through the floor. He can wait until the defuse starts, but Nafe is far away from it, so maybe there's not an angle. Maybe there's not an angle, but...
DarkZero and Oxygen to decide the match. It happens here on Clubhouse. Aiden, over to you.
I think we said it. Yeah, I think we said it in the break that our 3 a.m. estimate is a...
Well, OXG, well, they're not really doing an awful lot of work themselves, except for that little renovation on the floors and Citizen.
Cannot move inside of dirt, and there's another one to be deployed. Grixer still has one in his pocket.
They will not be able to get in through dirt until they're at about 10 seconds left, and Rival won't be able to get through anywhere for the rest of this round. It's just Spirits and Nafe, and Spirits was praying that he even got through the doorway. I think he got about 6 inches through, maybe a foot before he got shot, and Nafe just hoping to maybe take one down with him, hold on to his KD. Anything? He doesn't die. Presumably impacted, and so the Selmas aren't really able to fully open up the wall just yet. Citizen, though, is able to get a really nice kill.
In the second stage of the NAL, DarkZero had an 8%, Oxygen had a 16%, and so far that is still staying true, but overall, Oxygen are slowly...
And 1G'd himself because he was maybe low HP or something. Either way, 40 seconds to go, and DarkZero, without Rival or Citizen, are starting to get a plant down. They're starting to get kills on the board as well. The gas is well placed, and I think Nave might have been able to stick that diffuser, but he doesn't stick to it. Instead, he actually sticks it to Adam, dies to the barb right after, but his teammates have a two is planted in such a good spot where there are no possible long arms that can save you, and even then, the shield is going to be so obnoxious. There is an angle on the repel to try and deal with this, and Grixer just trying to bait out the shots from Spirit, but
you know you're directly under some players and could scan. I believe there were 4 players that could be spotted, but not even a chance. It is an Oxygen bulldozer. How did that even happen? Rival gets a nice kill from an air jab, but
the clash has brought him so close to the site that he's basically just bait at this point. Even Bait's putting the clash shield down, but Rival is not going to get that kill on a chance down. They were expecting to be able to set up their execute. The best in this position, hoping someone on OXG is going to overextend. You can see these players holding these angles from hatches. waiting for a foot, a head, a leg, anything to pop up, and finally something does. Gomez pops his head out, but immediately gets whack-a-moled. But NJR shut down right before the execute. That's very poor timing. They will get the res onto him, but as a result, they've only got about 10 seconds to get into the site. The projectors aren't going to block nearly enough of Yaga's vision to prevent him from getting that first kill, but NJR found the response. Rival needs to get this plant down. He has faith in his new teammates, and they're gonna... Opened up, though it's keep it off. That's pressure that could easily be put back onto the site if somebody just breaks that Kiba. But I don't think they're going at it from that opposite side. It looks like everybody is attacking from the same angle on the opposite side of the map, and Gomez is going to find the first pick. DZ were in pretty solid spot, but they may have thrown this away. Yaga was living, and that was so huge, but eventually he'll get taken down, and now Spirits makes it worse. And just when I thought DZ had thrown it away, now only Grixer remains down below the objective, but Spirits still hasn't planted. And with 3 seconds, they've got to stick it somewhere. He's got to stick it somewhere. He was sticking it in fire.
I mean, going for that instead of something like a Monty or a Blackbeard is really interesting to me. Speaking of, it's Nafe on the Monty, finding Yaga first in cash. That's gonna clear that out with a minute remaining. Very efficient.
Whoa.
Doesn't come without losing a body, though. And wow, Forrest in Oil Pit. He's been waiting a long, long time for this. But is he gonna be able to get out? How does Forrest find that?
They didn't expect him. Does he expect one around the corner? Seemingly somewhat, but he only shot...
It's mainly just going to be getting caught out with the time, because that is the main thing that DarkZero are really going to have to hurry up and get a kill. That's a big one.
And that's another big trade. It's Adam to make it a 2 versus 2, and importantly, isolate these last two attackers inside of construction. They could easily rotate, or rather inside of logistics. They could rotate to construction, but they're not going to do that. They're going to try and sneak in and stick a plant right in front of Grixer, but his Citizen hops off the plant, defends himself.
Because that is, at the end of the day, what Siege is about, is lowering percent that they are just going to aim at the right spot and kill you, or in this case, have damn good mechanics. That's something that we'll just have to see where this OG attack is coming from. Now here's where we looked at if NJR can do anything, but it's Nafe for 2! And completely give DarkZero the advantage.
Adam at least gets something back, but there goes NJR, the person you put a lens on before the round, and you can have your glass and your ying. We are still taking our first defense unless there's a 1 versus 4 out of Forest.
Fishing for a pick, and DarkZero are completely shutting them out. The smoke canister will go out, but it's an angle that Yaga's going to be able to hold with no one peeking, and finally something gives, and it's going to be Nafe.
That's a good kill for Forrest, a good lurkin for Gomez, but that's shut down by Rival, who's holding his post on the opposite side of the map. Somehow, Yaga shuts down Rival before being downed in response. Spirits is still prone inside that smoke, though, and he pops out with his shorty and makes his presence known, but Adam gets one back, barely misses the headshot on NJR, though, and that's going to leave Grixer in a 1-on-2 on the fuse. Not even rocking the shield, he's got the AK-12, a powerful gun as any, perhaps more powerful than any other. But it seemed like a questionable pick at the start of the round. He'll have to make sure, and he makes us look silly for doubting him.
Honestly, to your defense, you just wait. Sit back.
Yeah.
If you're going to have a blitz push up, this is dangerous because the flash can completely turn it around. And now down goes your mid, down goes the dirt player. DarkZero are having to scramble. They still have the time remaining, but now that's one area of entry that they have to keep their eye on.
Forrest is so low on HP, though. He could very easily die to that C4, and that's exactly what happens thanks to Rival. But Nafe is gone because of Yaga. The Blitz didn't just get a kill. He dislodged this DZ defense, but now Citizen is back in and in a big way. Grixer, though, back in even bigger than that, but he's got a best Citizen. These two key players on the night so far set to face off if Yaga doesn't get this plant down soon. Citizen, though, is going to delay the engagement as he skirts over to the boxes, but now he's flashed out. Grixer sprinting at him from blue. I think he's pinched here in between the bearing and the big Blackbeard. And
so either they could play around these castle barricades, or they could back up knowing they have the man advantage and knowing that they have that time. Even if there's still a minute 20, they can just play their life, or Rival gets a kill onto Forrest and makes it worse.
That was such a long angle as well. Gomez is going to find Nafe, so that's something. Adam finds another one. Can Gomez get rezzed? Citizen's down. But look at this lurk in for Grixer. In through garage, seemingly completely unexpected, though Spirit has gone prone on the rafters, and Spirit eventually unprones and takes the case down. It seemed like OXG might still have life in them yet, but it's all gone, it's all fallen apart, and DarkZero are gonna make it to the grand final first, one series away from the Six Invitational.
It almost seemed like the way